Hey Exiles, how we doing? Mr. A2G playing some more Saga of Survival. How are we all doing, guys? Okay, so going back from the last video as our introduction to the game, once more, welcome to this great game. Alright, so today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go into two zones. So we're going to quickly check out the basic zones for the rocky zone and the forest. And just to sort of get you guys a bit of an idea in terms of what you should be looking for, what you should be getting in terms of raw materials early on in game, and to improve your overall base and everything else in between. So before we go any further, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed and notified via the notification bell. Also like and comment, let me know how you guys are liking this new series. Anything that you guys want to know early in game, you know, from the very beginning, please let me know in the comments so we can go through it with you. If it's a common theme and everyone wants to see it in a video, we're gonna obviously pop that in a video in a future one. But also, if there's anything that I can address for you, the comment section is going to be the best way to do that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's get into it. So right now, guys, at the minute, we're on level 6. Just before we head out, just to let you know what is available to us. So at level 6, we've got accessibility to now things like the hardened spear, the carpenter's bench, bandages, level 1 armor, the sling there, the tannery, the chests, obviously, campfire. So right now I haven't got a campfire because I do not have enough stone, so we're going to visit the stone region first. We'll get some stone, we'll do a little run of it just to let you know, just to see how you guys are feeling with it, and to give you guys a bit of an idea and all that sort of stuff. But also I want to get the loom set up as well, and the critical thing with that is at the minute is that I want to create the sling as a dominant weapon for us to use early on in game. Yes, we do have a lot of weapons that were given to us at the start, and you know, the dagger, the pyromancer's ring I was able to get in the little event there, and some of these things there. At this point in time, guys, you really don't want to use them straight away. If you have to, you have to. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't use them whatsoever, but use them smart, use them strategically. So so what I mean by that is don't just use them and go through those weapons, because you're not going to get them back or be able to craft them up straight away. So that's my recommendation for you guys right now. Just be sure that you guys are using what you can craft within your means, of course. So at least this way, oh, completed a quest, awesome. That you guys are not you know, without, and you guys are, you know, out of pocket in a respect, and you know, you can get frustrated and things like that. But for now, what we're doing is we're diving into this zone. We've just killed a toad. Now that toad was not a regular toad, that was more on a higher defense, so a lot harder to kill. So you might find them with little shields. When you sort of get closer to them, you find their name, they might have a little shield, they might even look at it, you know, in a different color. So best way to do this, especially with your ranged weapons, creep up, make sure you use the creep button, and then simply attack, and then you'll notice that he'll do double the damage as opposed to regular damage to kill the enemy, which is good. And you obviously want to do that, you know, as best as you can, and that will do a lot of things as well. You'll be able to kill your enemies a lot quicker and a lot sooner, but also it's going to save you on durability on your weapon as well. So what I mean by that, as you can see, notice that toad there, the cursed frog. So he's got a little shield on top of his name, and he looks different. It's got a different skin, so therefore it's harder to kill. Same HP, but just more defense. But sorry, what I meant by your weapon durability, you look here, you've got your attack, speed, the hearing, you know, how many other enemies will be aware when you make a move on it. But to the right of it, you've got the little chain there. Now, a few people use various names and things like that. I mean, for me, I call it one, I call it another, but essentially they're your attack points. So what I mean by that is you've got in this case 23 times that you can use this weapon before it breaks, and you got to use something else. So they're the attack points that I have left on that weapon, based on the durability that I have left on the said weapon. So if you want to know exactly how much it's got, if you go up back into the menu crafting, where it says durability, it's 65. So full durability gives you 65 attack points that you can use on enemies as you're going through the zone. So you know that how much you've got left to go, and then you can sort of start putting forward your next weapon and having that already crafted up, so you don't have to worry about that breaking in a critical moment and you can't switch from one weapon to another, and you might run into a situation where you could be, potentially die. So obviously that's something that you want to sort of avoid for yourself as best practice. So we've got the boars here. Now boars are really good, okay? They will give you meat, and they will also give you animal fat and tusks. So there's something that you really want to make sure that you do, that you will sort of want to try and kill. At the moment we're still in the Christmas period, so that we are still getting all the Christmas items. So eventually they're going to be removed once the game updates. So I'm assuming that's going to update with the next update, which is the 1.10 update. Hopefully it's going to come out very, very soon. Trying to get confirmation as to when that might happen. But anyway guys, everything that you get in barrels at this point in time, you obviously want to grab it as soon as you can. So you want to take that back home. I mean, as you sort of get on in the game and you build up quite a bit of a stockpile of items and things like that, you're obviously going to decide against not taking it, and you rather get something else in return. So you'll run into those situations. But as I said before, if you get an enemy that is trying to attack you, best thing to do is run and crouch and do the sneak attack. If you can't get away from the enemy, let them hit you at least once if you've got the durability. So at least this way you can get away from the enemy further enough that you can crouch, sneak back, and go for the double attack. So that's my recommendation for you guys in that department there. Any scrolls that you pick up, make sure that you're utilizing them as well at the same time, so you gain your experience points. But for now, I'm going to get rid of these. Probably hang on to that. Yeah, cool. So we've got a few enemies here. Actually, quite a number of enemies here. Ooh, so you got young boar, he's alright, he's not too bad. If you get a sneak attack onto him, it's only 2 hits and he's gone. And there you go, we've got another level up. Alright, we're actually getting all the Christmas items, which is quite cool. I'm going to put that away for now. Alright, so let's quickly demonstrate this. Okay, so yeah, a young boar versus a sling. Go for the hit once, double attack, and then once more. Doesn't even hit you by the time he gets to you. Now there is another enemy that I just noticed there. You've got the little spider. So here's a little tricky one. In the basic form he's not too bad, but if you get his, now they're quick too, by the way, so you got to be careful. So that's why I brought this weapon, just in case. Again, like I said guys, you want to have a backup. Now these guys, they will give you venom as well. So venom is a excuse me, is a good resource to have as well, especially if you're looking to craft bandages, sorry I should say. And what else is it good for? I think this works for later on in game when you want to craft up oil, which you guys don't need to worry about at this point in time. Oil is something a lot further down the track that you want to sort of look at. So so not quite yet. But going back to it, let's get rid of some of these, some of that for now. Okay, and unfortunately I won't be able to hide from him, but as you can see, in some attacks that you might get you know, these harder enemies, and they might take a little bit longer to their generic counterparts to defeat. So here's another little spider here. Fortunately, he's got a very heightened awareness, so you'll hardly get any sneak attacks on him. So we've still got some enemies in the zone, which is fine. There's the third spider. So even though that I'm coming up behind him, he's still going to know that I'm there, so it is what it is. The only way that you're going to sneak up on these guys is if you've got a ranged weapon. Okay, so that's all the enemies here. I've taken this. Yep, perfect. So basically now what you want to do is you just want to take the resources that you're after. So we've got rushes, we've got iron, and we've got clay, and of course there is stone. So if you can see that there's stone. So for me at the moment, stone will be something that I want to grab early on. Clay and iron will come as well. Don't get me wrong, guys, that's going to be something that you're going to be needing to do in future. But the earlier that you start, the best run at this that you will have as well. So basically my idea for you guys is I want to give you guys a great foundation, because if you're going to start running into zones and thinking that, oh yeah, this is all good, this is great, you know, I've got these good weapons from the beginning, you know, I can walk into any zone and turn it over, you know, that may be true, but you're not going to sustain that. You might be lucky if you get it, you know, maybe 2-3 tops of a hard zone, maybe like a cursed forest, for example, or you might even just get there by once, I would think. But that's something that you sort of got to put into your forward planning. I'd rather you guys sort of master these zones first with weapons that you can craft, not what's being provided to you, because if you can do that, then you guys can survive and you guys are going to make it through this game. That's the way I see it for you guys. Right now I'm using the auto feature. So how this works is you can only activate this once you've cleared the zone of enemies. Deers are fine, they're not going to obviously attack you, so they're a neutral enemy, if that makes any sense. So if you were to try and do the auto collect mode, it's going to come up with a pop-up saying eliminate all enemies first, as it's a dangerous area kind of thing. So now that I've done that, I'm just letting my guy automatically run around, grab what he can grab until my inventory is full, and then basically run back home, and then from there we're going to drop everything off and then come back and finish it off. But we're not going to do it in this video. I'll do that in my own time, but you know, it's a wash, rinse, repeat kind of scenario. I'm sure you guys would understand in that regard. Once you've cleared the zone, you guys can more or less come back in, you know, in your time to complete it. But also I just want to point your attention to my my taskbar up top left hand corner where it's got my name. What you've got is your HP, which is your green, your yellow, which is your experience meter, obviously your avatar with the number 7 at the moment, that indicates the level that I'm at. Custom name that you can make, as you can see, I've got Mr. A2G a Junior. But then the right of all of that, you've got 3 components. You've got food, water, and curse. So food, every time that you're farming around and you're collecting items and things like that, your food meter drops every time that you collect something or you hit a tree, a stone deposit, clay deposit, iron deposit, all that sort of stuff. So you got to be conscious of that. Basically my idea for you guys is work out what you've got in terms of food and how that's going to better you if you're in a zone, if you're trying to collect and you've taken damage at the same time. Use all of that to your strength. Just don't go spamming on it every single time just to get your hunger back up. If you've got good food like the roasted meat, that gives you quite a bit of healing properties and curse points deduction, which I'll get into in a moment. You want to use something that's easy and consumable like the berries, just to get your hunger back up, okay? Because that's not going to, you're always going to be able to find that quite easily. You know, cheese I'll probably hold off as well at the same time. In that same regard, you want to use something that you can easily get earlier on. reserve these for later on in game. Now I'm using it because, I mean, it's for me, it doesn't really matter, but it matters to you guys how you should be using it, okay? And then finally, sorry, you've got the curse points in the right hand corner. So what that is that there's certain enemies in basic zones. You've got the frogs and the spiders that will contribute to your curse system. Now if you don't actually die or anything like that, so let me be clear with that, you do not die. What will happen though is if you allow it to go over 100, all enemies from the area that you're in a larger radius and zone will be attracted to you and will start run to you and attack you, and you won't be able to do any sort of sneak attacks or anything like that. So basically you've lost the element of surprise. So that's another thing that I want you guys to sort of consider and potentially avoid before you sort of run out and you know, you sort of do something that you shouldn't be doing because you haven't sort of attentioned the curse point criterion. Now what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just going through my inventory and I'm just putting things away and just trying to maximize my my storage capabilities. So with storage as well, this is going to be critical for you guys at the very beginning, okay? Because we've only got basic chests to use for now, and we're not going to be getting new chests until level 20 when we get to the sturdy chests. You want to invest in what you've got. You don't want to over excuse me, spend on resources to get small chests, because eventually you're going to be able to use larger chests moving on, and you're either going to delete them and it's going to be a waste of resource. So my advice is use what you've got smartly and effectively, so that way you can use them later on in game as well. They're still not going to be the best things, you know, further down the track, but you're going to get longevity out of them and it's going to be less resources cost. So the reason why I bring that up now while I've got you guys on screen is when you jump into it, you've got three options on the left hand side. You've got what's in your bag, you've got the chest itself, and then you've got the level up. So the level up here, so we're going to do this now. So let's get some materials and let's double click and upgrade. So what this does is it allows us to increase our capacity. So increase our capacity. So we just had a maximum of 20 per slot. Now I've gone up to 24. So if I continue to increase the level, I'm going to be able to put more and more items into each chest. So the stacking capabilities is a lot higher. Therefore, you can put more materials into that one chest instead of the traditional 20. So that's the only reason why I emphasize this now, guys, because this will be something good for you guys early on game. Now, this wasn't available to me when I first started, so this has only been a new implementation. Now, I've got the maximum now, so I'm done with that particular chest. But now I can go up to 30 units of items on a given item. So whether it's food, whether it's raw resources like this, you guys can utilize this whilst reducing your consumption in using excuse me, spending on materials to craft new chests, because you're going to need to use 12, 8, 4 of wood, rushes, and stone. Rushes are harder to sort of come by early on in game, because you can only get a certain amount per zone, whereas you get a lot more in regards to wood and stone. So you rather put your resources into that to maximize your storage capabilities. So that's my recommendation based on that, guys. For now, as we sort of ran the zone beforehand, unfortunately I've ran out of stone. I should have probably got a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. But basically, running the zone for the rocky zone first off, in any basic zone you're going to run into rope and you're going to run into stone. These two are key for you to craft your sling. Okay, So that's what's going to give you, you know, a new weapon. You know what, I'm just going to split that up right now, because I'll probably need that anyway. Put that away. I think it's only 4. Perfect. Okay, cool. Because I know I'm going to run into stone at some point, and I'll be able to craft that up. But also, let's just put this away. So travel light as best as you can, guys, or to your comfortable ability at the same time, because you obviously don't want to take too many things over, only to take back very few things, and you have to run up and back, up and back. But before I go into the other zone real quick, guys, the Stone Ridge has an hour and 40 minutes, or hour 45 I believe, as its cooldown timer, so you're gonna have more than enough time to run into the zone, grab your materials, because now you'll be able to do it in automatic mode. So chop down your wood, get your stone, get your clay, get your iron, and then in the pine grove here we're mainly going to get a bit of stone and majority of wood. So early in game, this is what I'd rather you guys master first. So be smart with your resources and materials, and how you how you sort of use it on early in game. My idea for you guys is to use what's available to you, and don't overstretch your budget. Okay, so what you need and to what you guys can get early on is what you should be using. So right now, all that you should be crafting up, which I haven't already but I will be, is obviously the campfire. You really don't need the signal fire yet. If you've got the resources, by all means, it just unlocks the chat system so you can chat to people globally. Small chests, use what you need for now. Don't blow your budget in using and getting resources just to get chests. Put some of your investment into getting more storage capacity, but obviously you want to get your sling up and running, because that's going to be a good weapon for you to use. If you need to, you can purchase armor. For me, I probably hold out if you're only just going to be running the basic zones until you get to level 9, because these will be better better armor for you to use. I actually commonly use this in my main series for pretty much all the zones that I run, but admittedly I am using higher powered weapons and range weapons, so I can offset whatever attack I get because of the weapons that I'm using. So but with these, a lot of this will be needed for the loom, because you're going to need the flax linen, and the loom will do that for you. So you're going to need rushes to craft flax linen. So I normally use the tilled field to continuously craft up rushes. It's a good practice, so you can build 2 of these and you can have them running at the same time. They do take some time for them to craft up, but what you get from the zone and then what you get from the till field, you're going to obviously maximize your production value in that regard. Campfire is going to be good once you do get it, so you can cook up meat and other materials as well later on in game. But obviously when you're getting meat, you're going to need to kill animals. So again, it all becomes relative to what you need it for. But I do suggest you get the loom as one of your very first workstations. That will be something that will be a good cornerstone for you guys to actually start using straight away. But aside from all that, guys, just want to go ahead and just loot the barrels here. Anything that you get like this, just use it. Go. You obviously don't have to buy into any of that. It's up to you guys. And here, this should be close to where the other chest is. Yes, it is. Oops, and there's a ball. Shouldn't have any problem defeating him with that. There we go. I've already completed another quest. Let's see what we get out of here. Awesome. Okay, so again, any of these books, these tomes, just use it because you're going to increase your skill. These hammers, hang on to them for now because you're not going to really need them right away. I mean, you can use them. The only time I would use these things Okay, and probably be a good idea just to sort of quickly go through it now, as we're sort of chatting along, because I'm sure you guys are thinking, what the hell is he talking about? But let me quickly get this stone deposit. Now that I've got a sufficient amount, oops, there goes my timer. Sorry guys. So the sling, I'm going to need a little bit more stone. Whoop, shouldn't have done that, but that doesn't matter. I should be able to grab your items here, grab that, and is there another stone? Okay, there's a few bit of stone here. Perfect. All right, so let's just grab this. So we've got enough here now, and let's just craft that up. Perfect. So how easy was that? So in most cases you will find some rope early on in game. I suggest you put your rope towards your sling, so you can utilize this as a ranged weapon as opposed to using a standard melee weapon. And then obviously what that's going to do is that's just going to save you on using food, armor durability, all that sort of stuff. The fact that you have to craft up armor and all that sort of stuff, you can reduce that in that very instance straight away. So that's my recommendation on that part there. That was probably the whole reason why I wanted to go into the zone real quick and show off that as well, guys, because that's going to be very good early in game, especially if you've gone through all of your good weapons. If you're one of those people that have gone through their good weapons that you initially got, revert back to your sling for to use as a ranged weapon early on in game, so you guys don't you know, go down that pathway of continuously using using you know, melee weapons and crafting up and things like that, because that's minimum cost. You can easily get rushes, you can easily find stone if you can't find rope, and you can craft your rope through the loom. And that's why I suggest that you get the loom straight away as soon as you can. All the items there are easily accessible. You get the cheesecloth from eating cheese and defeating goblins and frogs, so that won't take long for you to find, and then you can get your loom constructed. But anyway guys, that's pretty much it. That's everything I sort of wanted to go through with you guys. We have gone way over time, so I do apologize for that. I'm not going to go through the whole zone because I'm sure you guys understand exactly what needs to be done or how to do it. But again, when I hit auto there, that indicates I still have to kill those enemies there. Just bring it out there because I didn't do that beforehand. Otherwise, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you found the information valuable to you for early in-game preparations. All right, guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you've liked, subscribed, commented. Hit the notification bell please, so you guys don't miss out. Alright guys, take it easy. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.